Hello. How's everybody doing today? Hi, Sandcar. Hi, Sarah P. Where are you all scoping in from today? Where are you scoping in from today? How are you, Sarah? Sarah Henderson, it says. Where are you scoping from? I hope everybody, I hope everybody had a restful and relaxing Thanksgiving. I hope that you had a great time with your family and that you made some memories with your family during the holiday season. I just want to share real quickly. I'm in Starbucks and I meet people everywhere. People just stop and talk to me. And today, the lady stopped and asked me about my head wrap. So I had my head wrapped up quite a bit because I'm a little under the weather this week, and I wanted to try to, avoid and cold because I wear my hair short. Most people, you all know. And so it's like, this kind of my protective cover, so to speak, from, the sinus things. Hey, Angel. You like hair wear too? Yeah, I do too. I want to learn how to do the other ones where they have the little ball. I just haven't taken the time to learn how to do it. I have the scars, so just need to take time to learn it. But I just want everyone to just I just want everyone to just really think about the fact of just telling your story. I think so many times, and I've been so guilty of this, that we really think that our stories and the things that we've have occurred, things that occurred to us in this lifetime, really mean no significance. Hey, Angel, it's good to see you. I think that we also sometimes think that those things that happen to us are many times just for us, and they're just to keep to ourselves. But I want to encourage you today to really look at your story and to think about who your story can help and who your story can help to free. While I was sitting here today, the lady I mentioned earlier who asked the conversation about the head wrap, we just kind of started talking. I mean, I know we probably had a 30-minute conversation, but I just began to share with her about my wellness journey. I can't even begin to tell y'all how we even got on that conversation, y'all. But I shared with her the fact of being off of my diabetes medication for over a year now. And the fact of how it's been successful, and it was successful mainly through the me working and collaborating with God in my own healing. I believe very strongly that although the Word tells us we're healed, that we have a very vital part in our own healing. We do this in partnership with Jesus Christ. And so, as I began to share my story, I can't say awesome, Sarah, but I do my thing. I do what I need to do, and there's still more to do. And as a matter of fact, today I participated in the Thick and Curry camp at Results Central, and I'll be sharing a little bit more about that as well. So if you're in the Atlanta area, over in Decatur on Saturday mornings, and next month it starts at 9 a.m. There's a Thick and Curvy camp for curvy women, women who look just like me, because I'm a curvy girl. See, I'm a curvy girl, but women who are there who, in the same fight and struggle as I am, but who making the decision to deny, what the mind says and what the body even feels sometimes, and just getting out there doing it. But I shared with this lady, I think her name was Robin. I'm so bad with names, Lord, forgive me. But just really sharing with her the fact of how the combination of, denying Zacchaeus, less is Zacchaeus, more of Jesus, and the whole thing with eating and the exercise really helped to drive it down. She shared with me that she was taking insulin. But I'm crazy enough to believe, y'all, that, if we want healing, God will honor that. And I've seen him honor my own healing over and over again, and I have no doubt that he will honor my healing from hypertension as well, so that this will be the last medication that I will have to take for the rest of my life. I won't be taking it at 50 years old. I'm telling y'all right now, at 50 years old, I would not be taking no hypertension medicine. And so that would not have happened if I was being reserved or hold back. And I know sometimes as women, and I'm really speaking to those of us who do empowerment and, you know, who who work with other women, that we have to sometimes let go of these charades and these shenanigans. I'm going to also say this too, that if you are still holding back, or if you still are guarded, and I will tell you this, I deal with this sometimes, because sometimes there are a lot of folks who come at me. But if you're being guarded and you're not wanting to tell your story, it might not necessarily be the time for you to work in that particular field of working with women, because when you are called to this particular work, you have to be real with people. You just have to be doggone real with people. People need to feel your heart, your care, and your compassion for them. But they can't be done if we're holding back, or if we suspect or reserved with everybody because of the fact we don't really know who this is, or we're not necessarily standing before the audience. And so are you telling me that you're standing before a crowd, that the only time you can share your stories when you're maybe on the stage or on the platform? That's not how it works. If there are people who need to hear your story, no matter where God sits you, whether you're in a coffee shop, whether you are in church, whether you're at the hair salon, whether you're at the bowling alley, or whether you're at the gym, wherever He gives you the opportunity to share that story, you need to be obedient to share that story. Because we are our sister's keeper. We are responsible for one another. And when you share your story, you give that woman permission to be free. You give that woman the opportunity to begin her process of deliverance. And so don't let the blood be on your face. Don't let it be on your hands, face, wherever your body. Because of the fact that you're deciding to hold back. Share your story. Be thankful and grateful. This is a season we've been celebrating thanks of your story and being able to share with other women of how you came out. Now, their process of coming out may not be the same. They may not even be at a mindset of being ready to come out. But we still have a responsibility to share, because sometimes we are just planting seeds. And just like you do with kids, when we begin to plant seeds, we don't know how those are going to spring up. We don't even know sometimes what kind of ground that they're putting on. I guess sometimes we have a tendency to think, oh, it's on fertile ground. The person immediately, begins to take action on it. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And so we have stories to tell. Share your story. Again, give other women the opportunity to be free. Make sure that this is the lane of empowerment, of motivation and inspiration and things of that sort that you are actually strictly called to. Because if it's not necessarily work, maybe there's something else that God has called you to do when it actually comes to women. Maybe it's not empowerment. Maybe it's not inspiration and motivation. But if you seek God, I will tell you earnestly that He will let you know, because those of us who've been called to this lane, we can't hold back. There are too many lives at stake, y'all. There's too many lives at stake, and you're not using your story as that thing that's a victimizing story, because I can't stand those stories either. But you're using this story as a opportunity to move people from victim to victim. Oh, thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. You're using this to move people from victim to victim. Because again, and I know we've all heard this before, and the other day I got a self-check, from the Lord in regards to this journey, on my wellness journey. Again, it is not about me. It's not about the convenience of what I want to do when I want to do it. It's not about the convenience of whether or not I want to write this week or whether or not I want to post. It's about the lives of other women who need to be inspired to take ownership of their life, who need to take ownership of their health, who need to reclaim their lives. And so when I decide to be selfish and say I'm not posting today, and I'll be honest, some people say, well, they figured I'm not working out because I'm not posting, but I am working out. I just, in some cases, have decided, I don't need to post. And I try to post when I'm led, hey, Kurt Vegan, thanks for joining us. But in realizing that me posting, me sharing about what I ate, me sharing about my experience with a trainer, me sharing about my experiences with my thanks, hey, Decent Photography, me also sharing with other women, you know, about my aches and pains, sometimes about my woes, sometimes even about the dating life, you know, things of that sort. Thanks, D. Sims, for the heart mob. Hey, how we doing? You know, and so I want to encourage you, you know, no matter what your field is, like D. Simmons Photography, I assume this person is in photography, share that story. Share that story about what inspired you to be a photographer. Because it may inspire, you know, up-and-coming photographers, and I call myself up-and-coming because I love photography. I just have not taken the time to really hone on in it. I love photography. But to be able to tell a story through pictures is a very powerful thing. Hey, Reverend Noreen, how are you? I hope all of you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And so if there's a story you all out that you have been called to tell, I want you to tell that story. But again, we're looking for people who are going to tell stories from the standpoint of being, hey, lady, happy belated Thanksgiving. But we're looking for people who are ready to tell the story from the standpoint of us being victors as opposed to victims. It's time out for the victim stories. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so I believe that there are a number of us who have stories. And when we're telling, yes, it is very therapeutic to tell your story, because the scriptures, thank you, Holy Spirit, the scriptures tell us that we are overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimonies. So what I continue to find is that the more I tell my story, the more I am amazed, and I'm also in awe of what God continues to do and how he continues to do it. Yes, the Kurt Vegan sent you. Well, thank you, Kurt Vegan, and thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. So tell your story. Other people need to hear it. Other people need to know that there is a way, there's a process. And then there are some of us, although we have been called to tell the story, we have also been called to help others through that process. So if your calling is also to teach, like I have a calling to teach, it's up to some of us to start talking a little bit more about that process. And so if that means that you do life coaching, you do life coaching. If that means you have a webinar series or email series where people can take classes, or a journaling series, share that, you know. I think that we also need to just really be mindful of that you all, time is of the essence. I honestly believe that we are now even more than ever closer to the return of Jesus. And some people don't like to hear that. But we have all the signs, we have all the writings on the wall. And so it is so imperative that we get busy. Because when the sky cracks, I want to be found busy. I really do. I want to be found busy. And let me not just say busy for the sake of business. I want to be found doing purpose work. Let's say that. I think that's the better word to use. Found doing purposeful work. And so I hope that that's your same desire. I hope that's what you care to do. Because there are other people who need us. There are so many other people who need us. And for those of us also too of faith as well, I just want to also encourage you too, that if there's work that you've been called to do, there's so many other people outside of four walls that need us. Been had 2 conversations within a matter of hours today about street ministry, and that's where I have a heart, I have a passion for that. And so I know it's time for me to get busy doing something with that. So when I call next y'all to donate and be a part, don't y'all run from me, okay? I need y'all to come, because they're sisters. They need to hear us. They need to hear us. They need to know. Now, we don't always look this good. Now, my skin ain't always been this clear, you know. So they need to hear. They need to understand that it is possible to overcome. And not just to overcome and not just to survive, but to be able to thrive after you've done that. Okay? Yes. So I'm going to get a sign off. I got to finish studying, y'all. I got to, absolutely, it is the process. It is a process. Absolutely. I just talked about that earlier, Reverend Noreen, about deliverance being a process. And many times when we're not sharing our story, we're not necessarily sharing with people about the process that we went through. So that's why I say next level things like the whole teaching and the coaching are so imperative, so that other people know how to get out and get delivered. Now there is some instant deliverance, but for the most part, God don't take a lot of us through that, because He need to do some shaping. And in your deliverance, there is shaping. I'm just telling you what I know. Okay. So if you are, if you have a story that you want to share, and you are looking for an audience or a platform to partner with to share it, hit me up. Okay. Epic Wish. Oh, thank you, Epic Wish. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So if you are a person who is who targets women and who is looking to share again your story, or to start sharing some tips and things that other women can glean from to live their royal lives, hit me up on Facebook or email me. I'm Zakia S. Kyles on Facebook. I'd love to have you be a guest blogger. Kurt Vegan, I would love to have you do some interviews. You and Reverend Noreen and several other people that are probably on this scope that I know would love to have you be a part. Would love to have you share your knowledge and your wisdom with other women. Hit me up on Facebook again. I'm Zakia Kyles. There's Zakia S. Kyles. Or you can either look up the Queenland Comfort from Stuck to Start and send me an inbox message. Or you can email me at info@zakiaskyles.com. Be sure to visit us while you're there at zakiaskyles.com or from Stuck to Start. I look forward to it. And I hope that during this particular holiday season that you consider your story and how your story can truly be a gift to the world. Because believe me, it's a present that many people need to unwrap. All right? So I'll talk to y'all later. Got to get back to my studies. I got to teach tomorrow, our class. And so y'all be in prayer for me. We're talking about opposition. We're studying from Acts 4. And so if any of y'all familiar with that, you know, it talks about the opposition with, what is it, John and Paul? No, it ain't John and Paul. Peter and John, I think it is. Let me see. Yeah, it's Peter and John that they face from the centurions, and, you know, going and preaching about Jesus. And so I'm looking forward to sharing this. I always get all these revelations when I take time to study, and it's like probably 2-week, 3-week process for me to study, but it's all good. All right, y'all. I hope that you're having a sensational Saturday, and I will talk to you later. I'm going to try to start scoping more. Kurt Vegan's been on me, and some other people like, you need to scope more, you need to scope more. So I'm going to try to scope more. All right. Thank y'all. Have a great one. Take care. Bye-bye.